Okay. So yeah, we want to just tone that out and find the problem. So that'll shouldn't be too bad to. I mean, we'll figure out what it is and then go from there. But let me grab a couple things. And can we go in out this door?
Sure.
Might be a little easier. The circuit feeding this room seems to have intermittent power loss over the years. The homeowner said the power's come in and out several times. So we're gonna tone it out and determine where the break in the wire is, or it could be a neutral problem, it could be a hot problem. At this point, it's tough to gauge.
I'm gonna go in a little bit.
All right, sounds good.
Camera.
So we do actually have 110, and this is like a wiggy tester where it actually buzzes. I don't know if you can hear that, but it has an actual amp load, so that's why I chose this tester to check if there's power here, because you might get power on a multimeter, which is this type of tester. Let me see here. Where's my multimeter? And it might show that there's actual voltage. However, they have no load, so they'll show when there's like, two wires that are just like kind of barely touching, like let's say in a box, you just have a bad connection where they're barely touching. It would show with no load where there's not trying to use any power. It would actually show that there's a voltage there. But with a wiggy tester, this one, it actually puts a heavy load on it. Well, a couple amp draw. So this one's saying 122.4. Let's see. Yeah, same deal. So it might even just be the back of that outlet. Outlet is weird. It's like not letting the outlet seat all the way.
Yeah. So it sits out. That's what I saw when I first got here too.
It could just be that, because arc faults, they are very sensitive. They they'll even the slightest discrepancy in power, which would be or like energy that's being put out on the hot side. The slightest discrepancy coming back on the neutral, it will sense that.
Yeah.
So when there's an arc, there's power loss to heat
Right.
that's not registering back to the neutral. So the arc fault's saying power's going somewhere, even though it's a very small amount, it will sense that difference. That's why they're called arc faults. So we should probably tone the circuit out and find it in the junction box over here. In this switch box here.
It comes into this box here.
This is what I showed here. I hook up the toner on that side.
So switched over here.
Yeah, I think it comes into here.
Yeah, it should come from the other side too.
Oh.
More than likely.
Yeah,
Okay.
since the foyer's also on that.
Sure.
So
So
right there.
we'll trace it back a little bit. I mean, the unusual thing is when this type of thing happens, a lot of times if the neutral is being used in multiple circuits, an arc fault will sense that and kick it off. But it usually happens immediate.
Ah.
So I don't know if there's potentially something wrong with one of these pieces of equipment here too.
Both of them are relatively new, and in fact they're new because the one that I had was doing it.
One quick thing, we could do a double check on it. Could we? So I think it was maybe when we plugged in the tower. Was that when it went?
Yeah, it wasn't too long after that started coming up that it went out.
Do we have an extension cord? Do you have like a?
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, can you grab an extension cord from your truck real quick before we open that up?
Yeah, on the back.
Just an orange one.
Yeah, I was running it from this outlet,
And it ran.
and it ran.
Okay.
Foyer light's still on, so I don't think the breaker's tripped. I think it's
Well, there'll
Right.
be a 3-wire or multi-circuits coming to here.
yeah.
And then-
Yeah, the breaker's on.
Like you'll have your 14-3 come to that's how they
Yeah,
used
and
to
then
do it.
it just goes one hot going one way.
Yeah.
So they're sharing a neutral most likely.
Yes, but so it is on an arc fault. Well, we'll open it up and see, because this house was put in. When was this house built?
In 2004.
Yeah, so that was before the arc fault code came along.
Ah.
So they would have ran it with 3-wire home runs, sharing a neutral, because there was no issue with that
Oh, okay.
previous to the arc fault. I think they started that in like 2008, where they required it in the bedrooms.
Yeah, well, they got each of the. Well, this was listed as the bedroom, so they had it in each of the bedrooms now in the box.
So each bedroom has an arc fault?
Yep.
Okay, so,
Yep.
all right. And then after that, they made every circuit in the house have to have arc faults
Oh wow.
more recently. So,
Wow.
So the newer tester has a different indicator pattern on it. Like I'm used to the old plug tester, and when there's only one light lit up, it's okay. This one, it shows.
Oh, I got it over here.
It shows fault on this side and correct in green. The old testers, I think it was actually on this side, but one light meant it was okay, right? And then two meant.
Depended on the different set of sequence of lights.
So I just saw one light and didn't think anything of it. This is brand new. Santa brought this, gave it to some of the better guys. But so it when we plug in here, see this red light comes on. It looks like the okay reading for the older style, but it actually, if you look here, it says fault. If that makes sense. So we're gonna get to the bottom of what that fault is. And if you look here, we got 119, 120, 122. And if I go from the hot to the ground, we have nothing.
What? Switch loop in there? That's
It's just jumping around. Same deal. So we have a 3-wire home run coming over. Red, black.
Let's see, because even this outlet, you have the doors the same.
Could be. We could have a lost neutral to this room is what the problem is. But then we would have hot on the black too. Okay. Where does this guy go? Do we trace down these switches, or which one goes where, or no?
No, not yet.
Do you know what the first switch closest to the door did before?
Fan.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have 110 coming down from there. They did a switch loop. Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be in the fan box. It's a switch loop.
He capped it off up there.
I'm gonna go up you and you turn the ladder, all right? And I'm gonna hold the bulb.
Alright. Got it.
Back a little bit.
It's been a while. There might be a set screw in there someplace.
This one just turns, but they're always a little tricky.
The screws are underneath.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So that's gotta be coming from the panel side, but not the fan side.
on the table. You just gotta turn it back on.
I don't think it.
Can you give me the microphone?
It might just be reading from the back side.
Yeah. So what we're doing right now is we're toning out the circuit to determine where the neutral is energized. Somewhere along the line, for some reason or another, the neutral has become energized. And what that means is the polarity in the outlet on that little office room, the circuit there, the polarity's been reversed. So the neutral has become energized as if it were hot. Like most appliances that are not that don't have computer components will work still in that scenario. The polarity can be reversed, and the neutral can be the hot, and the hot can become the neutral, and it will work and not have an issue. But when you have something like a UPS, like an auxiliary power supply that's powering the computer there, that will not work if the polarity has been reversed because it's sensitive to that. So everything else in the room is working except for the UPS, which is powering everything on the desk. So that's where the symptom came from that the homeowner called us. So we need to determine where the neutral has become energized. So the white wire has power and it shouldn't. I think it's I actually think it's the breaker now. I think the breaker. They put the screws in the wrong spot. Let's see if I'm right. Okay. Yep, it looks like that's the case.
Yep.
Yeah. I need a got one here. This is a little trick that I do to remove breakers, especially these old Cutler hammers. You just push right between the two, it'll pop right out.
Like
This is it.
Hot, so it'd be even more safe.
So yeah, this is the problem right here. So we found the problem. The polarity was reversed on this breaker here. They had the neutral in the wrong place, and we corrected that. But sometimes it's difficult to trace down and find the source of the problem. You know, the actual repair takes seconds, but all the time was invested in tracing it down, following it back. So yeah, that's another one figured out. It's always so rewarding to solve a problem like this. I'm sure you guys, can attest. That's my favorite part of the job.
All the times when you get to tell them, hey, we have everything situated for you.
Like that moment, right when you're like, boom, I got it. It's always
Well, it's always like a little puzzle doing residential electric.
Yep.
You show up, there's a problem, and you just gotta figure it out. That's what
I'll
I
tell
like
you
about
what, if it wasn't for this stuff, I wouldn't probably enjoy electrical nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to mention about these panels is the Cutler hammer, the tan handle Cutler hammer. They're kind of phasing them out. They become a little more difficult to find.
Oh, they get hot too, those arc faults?
Yeah, these ones get hot. Yeah, they get real warm. Just under normal function, they get warm. I can actually show you that with the thermal camera.
Yeah, we had a guy who had probably 7 or 8 of them stacked, and they were at like 115, 116 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, that's still within parameters, but it's still a little sketchy. I don't like it,
Yeah.
But so I mean, they've been phasing for whatever reason. I mean, maybe that's not the case. It's just for me, we don't see. It's more difficult to get a hold of them, especially like the 50 amp ones. It seems like it's almost
a Florida breaker just to find a 15 amp.
Yeah, it's like very frustrating. And Cutler hammer also is called Eaton, and they do CHBR, which is it's a black breaker that is similar to like Square D Homeline or General Electric.
Yeah, that's the ones we used in all the dock work for the lighthouses and all that.
Yeah.
Power supplies.
Yep.
This is what the issue was 3.
Oh, well,
Oh.
there we go. We're not done. Let's put it back together and it should hold.
Yeah.
Oh, the toner. The toner was still on the circuit. That's what it was. Here you go.
So right now what we're doing is just putting it back in the wall. We got to make sure everything is situated correctly because you don't want anything touching on the side. So this ground, since it's not sheathed, if it touches any other screws, it'll cause it to trip back at the panel. So we just got to put it back, make sure everything's put in correctly. There's no loose wires, no issues in that regards.
No, I'm just talking about the holder. I'm gonna get another one just so I can have all my bits on me.
So one little tip about the trim plates that we'd like to go over is just making sure that all of our screws are nice and vertical when you're done. So.
Is that an aesthetic thing or what?
Yeah, that's what I like doing. Yeah. Making sure
If,
they're always-
if it's not, then it's a handyman that did it, man.
That's right.
You're
That's
not
how
the
you tell.
electrician if it's not vertical.
Yeah. I mean, I see some guys do them horizontal. I don't know what they, I guess they, weren't loved as children or something, but.
They learned definitely the wrong way. Albert does it. They all go different directions.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't know. I've never done residential electric before this.
I'm telling them.
Well, I do it that way now. You told me. Someone has to tell you for you to do it. You know that?
Yeah. We'll just keep that between us. We won't let anybody know.
All right.
So, we'll just double check this real quick. This is where we kind of found the problem originally, what was causing the issue, where the neutral was energized. So, let's see if there's any power at the neutral now. .06, so that's nothing. And then if we go from hot to ground, .122 volts. So that's correct now. The polarity is the way it should be. See, the issue before was that the power was coming in on this white wire, energizing this side. And now the power is coming in on this black wire, coming in on this side. And it was back at the panel was where the issue originated from. So sometimes it's difficult to find the source of the issue. You got to chase it back and go through everything. But and it always seems like it's the last place you check. But but that's how it goes. And sure the customer will be satisfied and happy that we were able to determine the issue and straighten it out for them without causing any damage to drywall or having to run any new wiring or anything like that. So that's always an ideal outcome.
Oh, that wasn't tight. Yeah, I didn't know. I ran into so many of those. That's what that was at that house we went to where we were in the fridge circuit under the panel. Remember that really red guy? Oh, okay. That's what that was wrong with the GFI. It worked in a while. I was like, you sure someone didn't touch this? They're like, yes. I'm like, oh, okay. Open it up, it's like, alright, They read the bad and they're like, yeah, we redid the drywall, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, we could reconnect.
You got that other screw that you.
Yeah, that's right.
So even though we're, confident that we solved the issue and we already checked once, we're just finally wrapping it up and we wanted to go around one more time. So I don't know if you recall earlier in the video, the red light came on, which refers to fault. So let's go ahead and see what happens now. Green, which is okay, 125 volts. Let's check underneath the desk here. Green, 125 volts. So underneath the desk is showing as green and incorrect, and over here was also showing a fault before. So again, we have green with 125 volts, which is what we want to see. And then this is another circuit, just so you can get a reference point. that's 126 volts. See the difference in voltage is because they're on alternate legs in the panel. So that's what we'd like to see. All right, so just wrapping it up over here on this troubleshoot. You know, had a couple issues here. The wires were hot in the one side of the house, and the other side, the polarity was reversed on the breakers. This is the type of job I enjoy the most, which is troubleshooting, solving the problem, figuring out the puzzle. If you have an issue like that, go ahead and give us a call. It would be my pleasure to come and help you guys out. Until next time, Simon Electric.